just wanted to make note of that. At this point in time, can I ask the Minister of Health to come and respond to what he has just heard? Minister?
Thank you very much, Kaiser. Thank you, Advocate TV, and let me acknowledge the Premier, the Deputy Minister, and the MEC. I'm not sure, Kaiser, whether I'm responding to what the Advocate has said or I'm adding my own things. But what I could just say is wow, and a big wow, Advocate. And you'll remember the wow I also made to you before, last year. The question which I am struggling, maybe somebody within this house will help me. Why Tembisa Hospital? Why Tembisa Hospital? Why was it selected by so many syndicates? What was their purpose and what drove them? I think those questions need to be answered. Advocate, you mentioned Home Affairs quite a number of times. And you also mentioned the issue of small fish and junior officials. And I'm very, very happy about that, because I'm one of the people who was getting worried that every time people who do malfeasance are caught, if they are junior, people get discouraged and say, no. Where is the big fish? Why was the big fish left behind? And they don't get happy and they don't regard that as an achievement, the issue of small fish and big fish. I'm saying so because my experience, as you said, in Home Affairs showed me the amount of damage that is done by the so-called small fish. But before I go into them, let me mention here, okay, that these syndicates we have mentioned here, whether it's Maumela, whether it's Mazibuko, whether it's Ket Matlala, whether it's X, even with their infinite wisdom or thuggery, they could not have achieved what they did without the cooperation and participation of government officials who may happen to be junior, who you call small fish. It will not have happened without them. If they did not want it to happen, these syndicates will have been nothing and they will have achieved nothing. And so we must, while we're chasing the syndicates, we must also look inside about our own officials and how we are going to make sure that in future we don't have that. The second thing I want to mention, I see similarities here. Many of you, as the Advocate has said many times today, about the late Babita Deokaran, may his soul rest in peace, who led us to this investigation and lost her life. Many of you don't know. It's me and the Kaiser and the Advocate who know that we nearly had a Babita Deokaran, or that there was another Babita Deokaran look-alike in Home Affairs. And it looks like the modus operandi is the same. And because I'm going to make proposals on what I think should be done, I think I need to outline these two cases. In Home Affairs, our Babita Deokaran was a gentleman who was commonly known as Mr. T. It's not because of your legalities, Advocate, is because he has got a very complex vendor name, which will twist the tongues of those who are not from Limpopo. So they just called Mr. T. He was working at the biggest refugee reception center in the country. And he discovered corruption there. A very diligent gentleman who hates corruption with all its manifestations. And when he testifies against an official, that official is gone. There's no way you'll survive. He's very diligent, he keeps records. If he appears in front of a tribunal or whatever to testify, you are gone. And the so-called small fish, people who are working in that reception center are very, very junior, as you're saying, advocate. This small fish decided, just like here in Tembisa, they decided that Babita must go, must be removed forever. They also decided that Mr. T must go. And a few days before he was due to testify against some 11 officials, they sent an assassin who pumped 4 bullets into Mr. T. And Mr. T was taken to hospital, to ICU, and he survived those bullets. He was given a 6 months leave. And after 6 months, he came back. He started where he has left off. He continued doing exactly what he was doing before he was shot. And 2 days before he was due to testify again, 2 more bullets were pumped into him. And just like the first 4 bullets, he survived them. Mr. T survived. And how I knew about him, we had a very strong counter-corruption unit in Home Affairs. They just told me that there is a Mr. T who has just retired minister, and this is what happened to him. And we want you to visit him. And so that he must realize that he has not been thrown away or thrown to the wolves, because he's in hiding. I visited Mr. T, as you remember, advocate. I sat with him for 2 hours. When he finished his story, I said, wow, this is not for me. From what he told me, I decided not to go to the police. I went to Advocate Muti. I said, this is bigger than me, advocate. Come and listen to this man. And I took him there, somewhere within the Republic of South Africa, to talk to Mr. T. And when he listened to his story, he said, wow. He went to fetch his team to come and sit with him. And when they finished, they went straight to a judge who did not hesitate, from the information Mr. T gave, who did not hesitate to give an order for a search and seizure. Many of you in the media attended that. The search and seizure at the Maraba Start Reception Center. It used to have the name of Desmond Tutu. It has been changed. And it was 10 days before the elections last year. And people thought it was just electioneering. They told me so. Many journalists told me, this is just electioneering. Nothing will come out of it. Now, why am I relating this story? Because Babita did exactly what Mr. T was doing, and she lost her life. Mr. T did not lose his life, but he's in hiding. He's in hiding. He can't live a free life. The people who killed Babita and who put Mr. T in hiding are driving Lamborghinis. Lamborghini Urus and the ones you couldn't pronounce, advocate, they are living a free life. Now, what type of country are we going to become? That the public servants, who are the real public servants, are the ones that are in hiding, and the scavengers are driving Lamborghinis. Surely none of us would like to live in that type of country. I know what I'm going to say. Many of you here might criticize me, but I'm going to say it anyway. When things like this happen, you start appreciating why the Chinese execute people, to remove them from society. You start appreciating it. I'm not saying we can do it. We're a different country. But you start appreciating and understanding why they go to that extent. Because they don't want to live in hiding and let the thugs run amok. When Mr. Chi, when I visited him, he was still testifying. He testified by virtual. Even now, as I'm talking, still having cases where he's testifying by virtual. I asked him, Mr. Chi, why you survived twice? And he's still having bullets in his body, which doctors may not remove because they are in very sensitive places of the body. And they will kill him if they try to remove them. I asked him, why do you still continue, even after surviving twice? He gave me two answers which are still shaking me. He said, Minister, people fought for this freedom and lost their lives. I am not about to give the freedom to the thugs in this country. I may as well lose my life. That will be my contribution to this country. That's what he told me. The second thing was very religious. When Mr. T was shot for the second time, he was just leaving church. Just as he stepped out of the church, they pumped the two bullets. Very religious. So the second reason he gave me, he said, Minister, why did I survive twice? Whoever is controlling life and death must have decided that I must be having a purpose in life. That's why he left me here. That's why he didn't take me away. Because I must still do something for this country. And so I'm going to continue doing it. Now, advocate, I don't know what powers you have to make recommendations to the people in power in this country. I'm not in power. Just, yes. To the people in power in this country. To make a recommendation about these people. You know, because I agree and I appreciate our democracy. But these people are going to be fired, most probably, after DC. If people are going to testify unlike Mr. Chi, some might be arrested and sentenced, but they are going to get parole and come back and enjoy their Lamborghinis. They are going to get parole. Others are already getting bail. So will all these exercises help us? You have referred cases to me, and I cherish that. Does it help us or does it help the country? Because one thing I know, people who do this never stop. And don't think I'm joking. And the story, another story of small fish. In Home Affairs, we used to have a post level 6 worker. Those who don't know what level 6 is, a DG is level 16. So you can imagine level 6 is down there, like you are saying, Clerks. This man, unfortunately, he comes from my province, level 6. He used to have 5 luxury cars, among them a Porsche and a Mercedes, and a huge house somewhere in Raskoro or in Limpopo, with a garage for each of the cars, because he was working with people who want to come into the country illegally, rich people who were paying by manipulating the movement control system. Now, when the ask him, advocate, you are a lawyer, you know, this laws we've made. There's a law called Pajama, where you tell a thug, what do you say if I arrest you? Something like that. They call it Paja. Yeah, the letters which you write, they call them audio. Yes, we have lost many cases because of audio. You are telling a thug that we know what you are doing. Can we do it? And we accept them, you know. So this man was asked, can they remove him from the movement control system? Because he had some codes. You know what he said? He said, yes, take this thing of yours because I'm not going to be able to stop what I'm doing. And they thought he's very arrogant. And when they told me the story, I tried to analyze for the whole night. And I came to a conclusion why this fellow say he can't stop. Look at these people. Lamborghinis, what? Property. How do you maintain that? You can't stop. That chap, how was he going to maintain that? You can't stop. Some of them, I'm sure, have already got children in very expensive private schools and all that. How are they going to stop? And why am I emphasizing on that? The only way for us to stop them is to remove them from society. So remove them from us. That's the only way that to stop. Otherwise, they will still continue. Because even here, I'm sure after Babita died, they still continued. Even after Mr. T survived, they still continued. So I'm calling upon advocate and support me and the Premier that Babita Deokaran and Mr. T must be given national orders. Even though with Babita is posthumous, obviously. They are the ones who deserve national orders and who need the freedom of South Africa rather than this tax getting that freedom of South Africa. So I'm sure there will be a question which will be asked by the media because I asked why Tembisa? Why not any other hospital? But advocate, from my experience, I don't want to stop here. I'm going to sit with you and continue. I would like you to visit at least 2 more provinces after Gauteng. I would like you to do KZN and Eastern Cape. I'm not saying the others no, but I would like you to do that and we'll sit down and I'll show you why and where and how it must happen. But as to the junior officials here, you need to help us with your power, because SIU have got power, and the powers that be. What do we do with these officials? Could there be a ruling, for instance, that once you are called, you must never, ever, ever work for the public again, regardless of how many years you serve? You must never, ever. Because we keep on recycling them. They keep on being recycled. They go here, DC, they are charged, they get parole and all that, they come back and continue what we are doing. Because, advocate, it can't be us who live in hiding. I appreciate the change of the laws to protect whistleblowers. Yes, I understand that and I support it. But I think our main function is to remove those who force whistleblowers to look for protection. They are the ones that must be removed. And I hope one day when we wake up, we'll have achieved that. But as for these ones that we have put here, we will go and process them. We'll follow all the rules. My own desire is that they must never, ever, ever see any office that serves the public again. Thank you very much.